Hi there, we're Ariel.
And Michelle.
We're the
And we're
Board
board
Game
game
Tutors,
tutors.
and we're going to be teaching you just the basics for Summoner Wars.
All right.
So basically, let's see here. Basically, Summoner Wars, it's a rather complicated game, but we're just going to try and reduce it to you for the basics. Basically, there's if you've ever played chess before, you have two kings in chess, right? This in this game, Summoner Wars, it's a board just like chess, but in this case, instead of kings, the people who essentially function as kings are called summoners. And there's two armies, one on this side of the board, one army on the other side of the board. And so this is my summoner in this example. His name's Takulu, and so he's essentially my king. And on this side, there's another summoner. His name is Vox, um, and he is a summoner for the opposite side. And as you can see here on these two summoners, um, they have 6 hit points. This means how many times you have to hit them before they die. And so basically in chess, the king, you have to eliminate the king on the opposite side. In chess, it's a lot simpler because it's just attacking the king and he's dead. But in this game, it's a little more complicated because Takula, you can see here, has 5 little dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means you have to hit him 5 times before he'll die. And Vlox, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dots. So that means he'll take 6 hits before he dies. So let's put him back on his side of the board. So, like I said, this is basically chess. So you have basically in your army, this is a really simplified, reduced version of the game, but um, on your particular side of the board, you have one summoner, who is your king, which you have to protect if they're your summoner, obviously. And then you have several um, basic units. And these units, they're obviously a lot weaker. And they're there to protect your summoner and to go after the opponent's summoner. All right, so now, just to continue going over the basics here, um, what you want to know is, okay, so the point of the game is to kill my opponent's summoner, and also, how do I do that? So first, the main thing you need to know first is how do you move around? Because obviously, like in chess, you move the spaces in particular ways. Um, Here is how standard movement works in Summoner Wars. First, um, any unit, a summoner or a more basic unit, um, can only move 2 spaces on their turn. So, and the way they move is up, down, left, or right. And they can move twice. So, for example, this deceiver, the basic bender unit, can go 1 to the left and 1 to the left again. That's 2 movements. Her turn's over. Or, um, if you want to do something a little bit more complex, not that complex, but you could go down, and then from that position, you could go left. So, for example, uh, basically that's how movement works. And so you can do the same thing with Takulu. The only movement restrictions are you can't go off of the board. That just doesn't make sense. And you can't go diagonally. But you can go diagonally in terms of going up and then to the left. But that counts as 2 movements, and then you can't go any farther. You can't go to the left, to the left. All right. So that's how movement works. Now, the other thing you want to know is how do you kill the opponent's summoner. So let's say in this example, this deceiver unit is right here. Um, when you attack other units on the board, there are 2 ways you can attack people. First, um, you look at this little symbol here on the card. This unit here has a sword, which means they're a melee fighter. That means they can only attack people above, below, left, or to the right of them. That's called orthogonal. But basically, that's how the thief can attack, because he's a melee fighter. He has a sword. He can't attack long distance. This deceiver here, though, she has a bow and arrow symbol, which means she's a ranged fighter, which basically means with a ranged fighter, you can attack anybody within 3 spaces of this unit. So, for example, this deceiver is 1, 2, 3 spaces away from blocks. So you have to count the spaces. So 1, 2, 3. She can attack him using a ranged attack. And so now that you know you can attack Vlox because that's he's within range, you look at this big number here. That number there tells you their attack value, which is just a fancy term for how many dice can you roll. So the deceiver would controlling the person controlling the deceiver would roll a die, and they got a 4. So the way die rolls work in this game is if you get a 3, a 4, a 5, or a 6, that is a successful hit, and you put a wound on your enemy summoner or enemy unit, depending on who you're attacking. So Vlox would have 1 wound, and as you can tell, he has 6 hit points, so now he only has 5 hit points remaining. If, however, you roll a 1 or a 2, that counts as a miss. So she shot at him, and he ducked, and she missed. So you don't want 1s or 2s, obviously. 3, 4, 5s, and 6s all count as hits, and I got a 4, so Vlox has 1 hit. And once you uh, fill your enemy summoner up with hits that are equal to or exceed their hit point value, this is a 3, for example, all the wound markers have either 1 hit or 3 hits. So if you did that and you added 2 more or more than that, Vlox would be dead. And basically, the goal of the game is to kill your opponent's summoner. All right, and that's it for just the basics. We're going to move on to, on our next video, how a turn sequence goes. And like I said, it's really simplistic. It's not all the rules yet, but now you have a pretty basic understanding of how the game goes. All right, thanks a lot, and see you next video.
Bye.